Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Small Talk with Shibby, my LCS post-game interview content. I am here joined by the victorious TeamLiquid mid laner APA. APA, I'm gonna get into it, man. When you were walking up to the stage, when you were taking the seat into the mid lane, did you get butterflies in your stomach? Were you wired? Were you juiced? I mean, you gotta explain to me how it was taking your first LCS debut with 1 day of prep. You told me.
Less than 1 day, but
Less than one day.
I was definitely very nervous. Like going on the stage, I was confident that we were gonna win, but just like, it's a different environment on stage. You walk onto the stage, you sit down, you see everybody out front in the stands, and then like, yeah, I definitely had a lot of, I was just really nervous the first like 5-10 minutes laning phase, and then once fights started happening, I've played enough League at this point where I started popping off.
And you actually ended up matching up against somebody that you have played against before, right? With
Yep. In the academy,
in academy, right? Against Bolulu. So and you actually had a lot of success in academy as well with TL's tier 2 team. What was it like actually matching up against somebody that you played against in academy? Was there like a rhythm? Did you like, oh wait, I figured this guy out back then? This guy does the same stuff. Like, were you drawing upon some of your older VODs, knowing that you were going up against somebody like Bolulu? Like, what was the prep like going into that?
I didn't do any like personal like 1v1 like VOD reviewing. I did a lot of VOD reviewing just like watching Immortal how they play, like just in general. But I mean, like I said, I faced Bolulu in academy. I knew he was like a pretty good Zoe player. Like Zoe Vel'Koz is what he's good at, and then
Yeah.
after that, I wasn't too sure what he plays. But when he locked in Zoe, I knew he was good Zoe, and I don't think that made me more nervous. I think I was just nervous because of the stage. But like after I got past like the first skirmish on mid lane where I jumped out and then I lived one Kenby flash W'd me.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, I think after that moment was when the nerves went away and I was like confident in my play.
You were just like, oh yeah, like they can't kill me here. Like they didn't kill me.
Yeah.
I'm good. Like this is easy. Okay, wasn't even close. I do want to talk about obviously the big thing that I think everybody and their mom was talking about, right? Like you're being integrated into the roster. It's a full Korean roster. You're now obviously speaking fluent English. Were you learning a little bit of Korean? Were you like kamsamida, pyoshik, thank you for the gank? Or was it just like you said, small English words? Like how does that communication happen? Because you had less than a day prep. Like usually within teams they'll have like certain words or certain flow chart kind of words where like if they say certain things they want to do this, right? They want to do that. How did that kind of all happen? Were you even a big talking, or were you talking a lot during that match, or were you leaving it more up to people like Core JJ and Pioshik kind of leading the call? Because obviously Core's English is very, very good.
Yeah. I think, well, like a lot of like the macro decisions were based around Pioshik and Core, like saying, hey, we're gonna play, like we're gonna deploy into this side and like drop vision, blah blah blah, do all like the macro stuff. But then a lot of fights, it's easy to have fight comms. You just say the champion's name. Like everybody understands when I say, like Renekton or Maokai. Like everybody gets that. Other than that, though, it's like we scrimmed 2 games yesterday, and we were learning how to like just communicate with each other. A lot of it was just like I said on the cast was just like 2-word. Like I'd say
Yeah.
somebody's name, like me or Piosik or Summit, whoever, and then like an action word. So like Piosik come dive, or like Piosik help, or like me base, me TP, like stuff like that. Or can fight.
And on the Tristana, right, a champion that you obviously played and had success on, I thought you were going to bring out the Ziggs, right? That signature champion. Maybe the Aurelion Soul was going to creep on in. Maybe we'll see it later tomorrow. Who knows? But with the Trist, right, did they kind of obviously put you in a comfort position to like, hey, all you really need to do is kind of just win your 1v1. You've got an escape. You shove the lane in, show up for team fights, TP, that kind of stuff. Was your job, do you think, made a little bit easier with that pick? Or like you said, is that something that you specifically called for?
Well, what they recommended was just put me on a champion that I'm comfortable on. I gave them like a list of like probably 5-6 champions that I feel like I'm mechanically very comfortable on. And then they said, okay, we'll figure out a drafter on those champions.
You're obviously known as like a huge grinder within the league scene. I think there was one season where you had over 2,500 games on all of your accounts.
Yeah,
I could be wrong on that. I think it was like 25. I don't remember the exact number, but it
yeah.
was
I
2,500.
don't remember the exact number, but it's like up there. It's up there.
Yeah, it's up there. It's up there. Obviously, you've been through collegiate, you've been through the amateur system. What kind of kept you going for so long, right? Because it feels like someone like you who would grind out a lot of games, who potentially has been passed up previously on like LCS positions and stuff like that. Was there ever a feeling for you? It's like, well, my time certainly should come eventually, right? Like you're killing it in Champions Queue, you've got the helmet, you showed off in Champions Queue when NA had Worlds, right? You were popping off then. Like, was that always in the back of your mind? Like, eventually I should just get this LCS starting spot, or was there ever like some kind of doubt within you, or some kind of like maybe nagging voice in the back of your head?
Well, it's like, how do I put this? I def well, to be blunt, I just love League of Legends. Like, I love playing the game.
I
It's
can
such a fun game.
tell.
Yeah, like even though I do put a lot in long hours, I definitely don't mind putting in long hours because the game is just so fun. I enjoy just a lot of aspects of the game, but it's also like speaking on what kept me going. It was after I graduated high school, I took a gap year. I told my parents the like I guess in a sense deal we made was I'll take a gap year. I'll try to go pro. If I don't go pro, I'll go collegiate. And then I ended up getting the opportunity to go to Maryville. So it's like a 2-for-1. I can still try to go pro after my gap year, but then I'm also just going to school, like to be agreed upon with the deal. And then, I mean, yeah, I joined TL within a year after going to Maryville.
And so was that progression for you? Like, all right, I did the Maryville. Now I'm on TL Academy or Challengers, and now I'm on like mid lane. Was that just like something where it's like, yeah, I'm taking the right steps. I'm progressing as I should, or was there ever a moment for you? It's like, well, fuck, like I'm pretty sure like I could have gotten this spot, or I'm pretty sure was there ever like any self doubt for you?
Um, I don't think I had self doubt in that sense, but it's also I wasn't like, for lack of a better word, I'm gonna say selfish. I
Mhm.
didn't think that I like, if they chose somebody over me, because to be honest, I had like other offers, and then like at the last minute, they chose another player over me.
Yeah,
I wasn't like selfish in the sense of thinking I got like scammed or whatever.
of course.
It was just, like they thought someone was better than me. Like, I have to improve, like stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think the environment for NA mid laners, right, as well, right? Like we've had a lot of people role swap, Busio being one of them. We've had people completely leave the scene, right? People like a Blaze Olive, obviously you and Insanity and JoJo as well are like the Native American mid laners, Native North American mid laners in
Mhm.
that sense. Was that something for you to kind of prove to everybody, like? Because you were offered a role swap position, correct, at one point, and you
Uh,
declined it.
After 2020, I was offered
Yeah.
support, and then I played support in solo queue for like a month, and I realized I enjoyed the game significantly less. And like, I thought to myself, if I don't enjoy the game now, when I'm playing a certain role, playing support, how am I gonna enjoy the game when it becomes like, an actual job rather than in a sense hobby?
Final question here. APA, I know we've only gotten your first debut here. Do you have a final message to the TL fans, the APA fans, everything like that? What do you got to say to everybody? Because everybody was popping off on Twitter, Cubby, Rafa, all the tier 2 guys. I saw your mom and dad on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Like they were getting suggested. Obviously, we saw the signs. What do you have to say to everybody?
I mean, yeah, just keep rooting for me. I feel I'm confident in my gameplay, and I'll keep showing that on LCS stage.